up? What's up, YouTube? Finally decided to get on here on this Memorial Day. And it's about to be all good this week. I got some great stuff coming for YouTube, and let me do my intro, y'all. I gotta get used to this. Hey, it's Coach Shoni, and I am your spiritual life coach for guidance, for prophetic messages. When you're on that spiritual journey and you need to know that you're not losing it, and you need somebody to help you make sense of the dreams, the messages, the angel numbers, I'm here for you. All my contact info is in my bio. All right, so I also do one-on-one coaching sessions as well, and I got a few things coming out that's going to help you guys. Some literary content for that's beginner friendly, because I know what it's like to start out on a spiritual journey and not have a clue as to like, what does this mean? Nobody in my family was like this. It's just me. And so it's very important that we have some kind of spiritual mentor, some type of spiritual guide. And so today, I think, I'm gonna end up saving this live, but I'm gonna use this as um as an opportunity to share a message. Yes, yes, we shall do that. So, starting out on that spiritual journey can be scary. You start to think like, okay, why is everybody acting different towards me? Why is it just me? Why is it every time I speak up it's a problem, but after so and so just got through clowning, nobody said anything? But it's like if I say something, I've said too much, and everybody's like, oh, let's calm it down now. Or it seems like you've had the most obstacles to overcome. But somehow God has always protected you, and you just didn't understand what it was. And lately, God has had me reading in the book of Isaiah. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, what will I read today, Lord? And I've been directed to Isaiah. I read several different chapters, and it made sense for what I was thinking and feeling in the past 24 hours. And so for me, that means like, okay, reading the book of Isaiah is showing me that where I am right now is seeing that all the destruction that God had to do, God is also responsible for the cleanup and the blessings that come all out of all of the things that are happening. So it was like, it was all about Babylon, Jacob, and everything, and all these different things going on. But the moral of the story was, just like God had to destroy what wasn't right, God is also the rebuilder and the redeemer. And so, as you're on your spiritual journey, things are going to be falling apart. Things are going to be falling apart left and right, but it's going to be falling into place more than it is apart. And you're going to realize that the life you used to live wasn't even the life you desired. It was just what you were born into and you accepted along the way. Some agreements you made with people and things over trauma, a lot of trauma bonds in your relationships that you are waking up to that no longer serve you, as well as, not just romantic relationships, but with your parents, your siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles. Um, a lot of things could be undone just based on the fact that they were not meant to be. They weren't meant to be. And if they happen, it was a lesson. And you have to take the lesson and learn to move on. Because God is not going to keep you in something you don't belong in. And you have to believe that. You're going to go through, you're going to see the lesson in it. And you can also be a blessing to somebody in your season of things falling apart. I know I've lived this over the past year and a half. And this week I'm going to tell y'all my story. Oh, I feel called to do that. If you want to hear it, comment below. If you want to hear my story about the dark night of the soul, it's when you face everything. When you say, God, I'm finally ready to have my spiritual awakening. I want the life that you got for me. And what it looks like is you end up having your spiritual awakening. And it felt like everything fell apart, but it really fell into place. Or things that weren't for you started breaking off, and you might have gotten afraid and like, I don't know about this. Is this really supposed to be happening? Is this good? Is this really God? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like God. But then when you look back over the lesson from it and how you got through it, and what transpired, then you start to believe that, okay, God's hand was all in this, and I didn't see this about these people, these situations, these things that were happening in my life. And I was very naive to what all the foul play that was at hand. And so, what falling apart could look like is you being in a situation where it feels uncomfortable, it feels unwelcoming, and it feels like punishment. But God is saying, I got you in that situation so you can be a blessing to someone else. Like, this is their opportunity to serve and be a blessing, be of service when they know I've spoken to them about it. And many people will have the opportunity to be a blessing and to be of service to a chosen one, such as you, if you're seeing this video, and they will decline the opportunity. They will decline their opportunity for a blessing because it looks like work. A lot of people ask for things and it looks like work. It looks like I got to do some work on myself. I got to do some work for something. I got to do some work for someone else. And now I don't want it anymore. But they didn't realize their blessing was on the other side of that thing they did not want to do. And so now it's starting to be like, okay, I can look back at this and say, God used me as a blessing for someone else. I didn't know that I was there to be a blessing because I didn't know who I was and I didn't know how God operated. I just thought I was there as punishment for myself. I only saw it. I only saw me, 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 me. That's why he had to wake me up to say there's more going on in situations. You're not the only person in that situation. You got to look at it from all angles, the God view. Well, so and so prayed for this and so prayed for that. And this is how so and so can earn their blessing and be a blessing and get a blessing. So, for example, I say, God, I'm ready for the life you should got for me. And God is trying to wake me up to who I am, how powerful I am, what's in me, what I'm capable of, and that I really just need to rely on self, and everything I have within me is in me. Someone else at the same time could be praying for a promotion, and they need people to get this promotion, right? And so God says, okay, this is a great opportunity for you to see what you're made of. Go do business with so and so who prayed for a promotion, right? And so you go do what you do, and so will get promoted as long as so and so helps you. Double blessing. God, I'm ready for my life. You got to know who you are to have the life you're meant to have. So I was put in a position to where, okay, go do this. Work with this person. I didn't see what was the blessing about it at first. It felt very like it was uncomfortable. It felt like punishment. But at the same time, God opened my eyes to the fact that that person asked for a blessing and I sent you to help them. You were more than willing to do the thing that they needed to do to get the promotion. You're more than capable. You're ready to be a part of it. That person rejected the blessing in disguise and looked at it like, not you, somebody else. Somebody maybe who looks more like me. And I looked the opposite of this person. Gender, race, everything opposite. And so God was showing me in that particular instance that you're not only there for yourself. There's more at work here. You're not my only child. So I'm like, God could tell you to go help out your sibling, but it's a blessing in it for you and them. And depending on how you work together. And so you might do your part and the other one doesn't do their part, and they got to face God for it. God be like, hey, don't keep asking me for the same thing. When I send you help, you reject it, right? And so we got to understand what that looks like, being that blessing in disguise. And so that's why you can't always go and step in and intervene too many times for people, because you don't know what they prayed for, and you don't know how you might have to go and be the person that feels like a sacrificial lamb at first, but it's going to bring something out of you and it's going to expose something in them. Double exposure. One's positive, one's negative. I saw what I could do. I know what I could do. And the way that person came at me let me know, wow, this is what's in me. So I walked out of that victorious, not on the financial sense, which is the financial industry, but more so on the personal and spiritual and mental level. Like, I felt like a boss walking up out of there. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it was time to go, God said, do not stay where you are not welcome, and do not cast your pearls among swine. I was sitting there one day in that office, and God said that to me. And so the person that prayed for the blessing and also rejected it um, in the same hand, God was like, time's up for that, buddy. You blocked your own blessing. You blocked your own blessing. You're going to have to live with the consequences. And do not touch my anointed and do my prophet no harm. You don't know who I sent to you. So you all are going into places. You're anointed, you're blessed, you're called to do something. It's a part of your spiritual journey where all the places you go, and God tells you how to travel in Deuteronomy. Be careful when reading that, because there's some things that speak against the chosen one in there too, because it's been rewritten too many times. So always like Google or do an extra study on the verses and chapters you're reading to get the true meaning of it, in addition to what you're reading. Just that extra layer of protection about reciting those words, because words, you spell words and words are spells. And so just open your eyes
Mm-hmm.
and be in study mode. Be in study mode when you're reading anything that another man has written and another man has rewritten, another man has translated into a different language, and then they've rewritten it again. Okay, and then knowing some context behind things about how they took God's name out of the Bible and replaced it with Lord everywhere in the Bible, and that pulls it down to the earth level, Lord of the lands, no longer God of all, with God's true name. So know and understand what you're reading and get the original context out of it as much as you can. We should never look at any one thing and say, this is it. It wasn't spoken from God. It is not final. God has the final say. So understand that as you're reading things, but I was instructed to read Deuteronomy a year ago, and the part that I focused in on was how they traveled through the lands coming out of the wilderness. How not Joseph, Moses brought them out of the wilderness, and how they had to pass through everybody's land before they got to the Red Sea. So it was very important for me to understand the context behind what I was reading in terms of, Shanitra, as you go through your spiritual journey, and I take you through different places that belong to other people, as you approach their land, their office, their home, their whatever, their domain, I gave them dominion over that. Yes, you are with me. Yes, you are on your journey. Yes, I have you going to these places. Even when it doesn't look good, you don't know what my plan is. My ways are not your ways. So you might be going to be a blessing to someone who prayed for something from me. Now they got to do something for me. They have to be a blessing to one of my chosen ones. You do not go into these people's lands with an ego, high and mighty. You do not break the rules. You do not talk against them in their own land, in their own home. You don't do any of that. You go through peacefully, or I will come for you, because I told you this is how you pass through respectfully. No matter what they're doing, I'm going to stop them from harming you. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. So God said, you're protected wherever I send you, as long as you abide by the rules until I bring you out of it. So you got to understand that just because God got you going somewhere and doing something doesn't mean you can go do whatever you want. You have to be in alignment with the plan and the laws of the land, or you're going to be held accountable just as much as anybody who tries to come and do wrong against you. So I hope that this helps somebody, and that understanding your spiritual journey and your spiritual awakening is more so about you going through and interacting and learning customs according to the kingdom of God, and understanding that as a spiritual being, I still got to operate in a physical body, and I'm not invincible. There are some laws there of the land. There are some rules in this land. I'm not alone. God is protecting me, but I must also be obedient to what He's showing me, because there are people who are also going to also going to have to do the same thing. We're going to cross paths on our spiritual journeys. We both ask God for something. We got to come together and work together at different points in time with different chosen ones, different children of God. And we got to be ready to do our part and not have an ego in it. Okay? And then when you leave it better than you found it. I hope they help somebody. For more information, to contact me, one-on-one sessions, readings, dream interpretations, you name it, all things spiritual. I'm also a mom. I have a 22-year-old and a 14-year-old. So I also help with a lot of relationship and parenting advice as well. So spiritual counselor here, Coach Shoni, checking out. Y'all be great. Peace, love, and light.